fear.
Because I did feel at times that I was gonna die.
So much fear.
I kept praying. I said, God, please let me live through this moment.
Humiliation.
I was a zero. I was nothing.
Pure disbelief.
I just couldn't understand, how is this happening to us?
All just for wanting a fresh start.
You come to Oklahoma and you get treated like this. For what?
This woman, who we're calling Marissa, and her 3 daughters came to Oklahoma from Maryland looking for a slower, more affordable pace of life. They rented this house in a nice, seemingly safe northwest Oklahoma City neighborhood. Her husband planned to join them this past weekend, but any semblance they had of comfort went out the window when 20 men armed to the teeth busted through it Thursday morning.
I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off.
They were federal agents, Marissa says, with the U.S. Marshals, ICE, and the FBI.
And I kept asking them, like, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house. They
ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed.
They wanted me to change in front of all of them, in between all of them.
The thing is, the suspect names on that search warrant were not Marissa's or anyone in her family's. They were, however, names listed on mail still arriving at the house. Former residents, perhaps.
We just moved here from Maryland. We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens.
She says they didn't care.
We weren't criminals. Why were they treating us like criminals? We were here by ourselves. That we didn't do anything.
The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house, taking their phones, laptops, documents, and their life savings in cash as evidence.
I have to feed my children. I'm gonna need gas money. I need to be able to get around. Like, how do you just leave me like this, like an abandoned dog?
And when they left, they told her something.
I know it was a little rough this morning. It was so denigrating. Like, you do all of this to a family, to women, your fellow citizens, and it was a little rough. You have literally traumatized me and my daughters for life.
This family has virtually nothing.
And I said, when are we gonna get our stuff back? He was like, it could be days or it could be months.
Nothing but questions.
Well, what if I would have been armed? What if you're breaking in? What am I supposed to think? My initial thought is we were being robbed. My daughters, my female daughters being kidnapped.
Nothing but likely lifelong trauma.
We have guns pointed at our faces. Can you just reprogram yourself and see us as humans, as women? A little bit of mercy and care a little bit about your fellow human mate, about your fellow citizen, like fellow resident. We bleed too. We bleed just like anybody else bleeds. We were scared. You could see it in our faces that we were terrified.
Today, we cover a deeply disturbing story out of Oklahoma City that has sent shockwave across the country. A U.S. citizen family, innocent, newly moved into their home, was raided by ICE agents executing a warrant that didn't even have their names on it. 20 armed agents stormed their house, seized their personal belongings, and left them standing in the rain, stripped of their dignity and their rights. The story is sparking outrage online. People are demanding accountability. Civil rights advocates are calling this a gross miscarriage of justice. One Twitter user wrote, "This is what happens when unchecked power meets legacies. This family deserves justice now." In this video, we will break down exactly what happened, how ICE defended its action, and why this has become a symbol of something much larger. Questions about oversight, humanity, and the rights of American citizens in their own homes. This is not just a headline, this is a wake-up call. So let's get into it and watch what people have to say.
We have serious news right now. In Oklahoma City, a family has been left traumatized after ICE officials raided their home, seized their laptops, phones, and personal life savings, despite the fact that the family, all of them, are U.S. citizens, and the search warrant that ICE had for the home, well, did not include this family's names. According to K4, agents had a lawful search warrant for this Oklahoma City home, but the people, the family that was living in there, had just moved there 2 weeks ago and were not the suspects on the search warrant. The woman, who went by the name Marissa, and her 3 children, faced a search warrant with ICE agents 20 of them, drawing guns. The ICE agents ordered her and her daughters outside into the rain before they could put on clothes. Her minor daughter was literally in her underwear because these ICE agents wouldn't allow them to change. She was pleading with ICE agents, telling them that they were US citizens. The ICE agents didn't care. And well, now they have nothing. Go read this full story on K4's website. Spread the word. I just did a full breakdown on my Substack, link to my bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Do other things. Like, comment, repost. Do what you gotta do to get this in front of as many people as possible. This story needs to be heard. It needs to circulate. It needs to be talked about. In Oklahoma, there was a ICE raid. There was no warrant for it. Okay, let me be specific. The warrant they had wasn't a warrant to do what they did. It was the wrong house, the wrong family. They raided the home of a mother and 3 daughters. When they got in the house, they forced the mother to get dressed in front of them. There were like over 20 ICE agents in this exact same house. I've linked it all below. Check it out in the description. They took everything, all our belongings, including their life savings, all their devices. They stole everything from them. This is a family starting over, moving to Oklahoma from Maryland, I believe. This is not America. They don't get to get a pass for following orders. They should be in jail because they are violating human rights every single day, and we're paying our taxes for it. I better see more people out on the streets on May 1st this week because of stuff like this. And if you think this is going to protect you, if you think this skin color will protect you, oh, you got another thing coming. He doesn't care about due process. He doesn't care about following the rules. They want this, and they want you to be numb to it and not care. This is how authoritarians, dictators win. Don't let this go unnoticed. Talk about it, spread it, get this information out, because this is not okay. This is not America, and everyone needs to say it. You're not crazy.
Breaking news. Last night around 3 in the morning, a family in Bakersfield, California was raided by ICE. Not because they were criminals, not because they were a threat, but because this government under Donald Trump has decided that families, real human beings, are collateral damage in the name of immigration enforcement. The man they took, a father of 3, no criminal record, he had a temporary protection status, he had been going to all of his immigration check-ins, he was doing everything right. But ICE agents still stormed into his home while his wife and kids were sleeping. They shattered the front door. They came in with rifles and tactical gear. His children, small children, watched him get dragged away in handcuffs while they screamed for their dad. Imagine that. Imagine your own kids being woken up by shouting, by boots slamming the floor, by the sound of fathers being taken. What kind of trauma does that leave behind? This isn't just policy. This is cruelty. When fear was the point, when ICE had permission to terrorize families in the middle of the night, when people trying to build a life here were treated like fugitives. Let's be really clear. This man had legal protection. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't dangerous. He was a father, a husband, and a worker. His only crime was trying to stay here and raise his kids. Now his wife is left alone trying to comfort children who don't understand why their daddy is gone or if he's ever going to come back. I know this story won't trend like celebrity gossip or sports, but it matters because what happened to his family could happen to thousands more. I'm going to keep tracking this case and tell you the truth as it unfolds. If you feel something hearing this, don't just scroll. Follow me on Instagram and Substack. Share this. Speak out, because no child in America should have to wake up screaming because of the government. No child.
So what happened in Oklahoma City is not just a mistake, it's a human rights violation. ICE agents conducted a raid based on a search warrant that was not only outdated in context, it was flat out irrelevant to the family they targeted. A woman named Marissa and her 3 children were violently uprooted from their sense of security, and the worst part, they were US citizens, all of them. No criminal records, no immigration violation, no connection to the suspect listed on that warrant, and yet 20 heavily armed federal agents stormed their home. Marissa described the scene: guns drawn, agents yelling, her children terrified, and none of them even dressed yet. She was begging to be allowed to clothe her daughter, a minor who stood outside in the cold rain in just her underwear. But those pleas were ignored. No compassion, no decency, just brute force. Now let's pause here. Let's put the legal debate aside for a moment. Forget the politics, forget the left or right. Ask yourself, what if this was your family? What if your daughter was standing outside in a rainstorm, half naked and crying, while a government agency tore through your home, a home you legally own, a place you moved into just 2 weeks earlier? ICE claims the warrant was legitimate, but the details show something deeply flawed. This family wasn't named on the warrant. The individuals ICE was supposedly targeting, they didn't live there anymore. In fact, they hadn't lived there for a week. Marissa and her kids were simply the unlucky new tenants, and now they are left with nothing. Their phones, their laptops, and their life savings seized. Their sense of safety shattered. And here is where the public outrage comes in, and rightfully so. Across social media, Americans from all walks of life are expressing disbelief, not because they are surprised this could happen, but because they are horrified that it did. In 2025, the United States of America, this is happening to law-abiding citizens, no without cause. People are asking, where is their accountability? Civil rights organizations are now demanding answer. Lawyers are calling this an unlawful search and seizure, a blasphemous violation of the Fourth Amendment. Activism are pointing to the systemic failures with ICE, warning that unchecked power combined with rush, poorly verified oppression will inevitably lead to more of these tragic mistakes. What's most alarming in this silence from leadership? At the time of this recording, there has been no apology, no public statement acknowledging faults, just a generic justification about the warrant and procedures. But you can't talk procedures when a child is crying in the rain because her government doesn't believe she is a citizen in her own home. Let's get something straight. This isn't just about immigration, this is about due process. It's about constitutional rights, it's about how we treat human beings, especially when they are innocent. When you give federal agents the authority to act without verified intelligence, when there is no built-in accountability, incidents like this become not the expectation, but part of a dangerous pattern. And let's talk trauma. This family is scared, not just emotionally, but practically. They have no phones, no computers, no money. These aren't luxuries, these are basic tools for life in America. How does a mother call a lawyer? How do the kids attend to school? How does anyone get back to work, pay bills, or even contact loved ones when everything has been taken? They have been left with nothing, and as they have moved on to the next house. Let's not forget, these are the kinds of stories that often never get old. If it wasn't for local reporting, shout out to K4 News for breaking the story, this would have been buried, brushed off, forgotten. How many families like Marissa are too scared or too ashamed to speak out? How many people suffered in silence because they believe no one will believe them? The reaction online has been faced and should be. Hashtags like ICE accountability and justice for Marissa are trending, but beyond the hashtag, there is a real sense of urgency. People are calling their representatives, they are demanding congressional oversight, and more than anything, they are saying this can't be happening. What ICE did in Oklahoma City wasn't just a mistake, it was a breach of trust, a slap in the face to every American who believes in civil liberties. And unless there is a real accountability, unless this agency is forced to answer for what is done, it will happen again. So what now? These families need help, legal help, community support, public pressure. They need their stories to be heard by more than just news outlets and social media feeds. They need lawmakers, investigators, watchdogs, people with power to act, to say this wasn't okay, to ensure it doesn't happen to another family. And ICE, they need to be held to a higher standard. A warrant is not a license to destroy lives, especially when it's used the wrong people. So if you are watching this video, don't scroll past, don't tune out. Share this story demanding action. Support organizations fighting for constitutional protection, because next time it might not be someone else, it might be someone you know. This has been your breakdown of the ICE raid in Oklahoma City, a story of injustice, fear, and the fight for accountability in modern America. If this story moved you, share it, comment your thoughts below, and if you believe in truth, justice, and human rights, hit that like button, subscribe for more real coverage, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story that matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and always speak up. Peace.